Hello, and welcome to the Solarpunk Scene. The Solarpunk Scene is a project that is dedicated to bringing you the latest in solarpunk and sustainability news. My name is Lindsay, and I'm here to present you today with an interview that I did with Victor of CloseKnit. CloseKnit is a neighborhood community building app to go and help create connections within your neighborhood. Please enjoy. Hi, Victor. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm
Hi,
excited to go and
Lindsay.
hear about CloseKnit. Um, for those who haven't heard of it, how would you summarize CloseKnit?
Uh, okay, so CloseKnit is a human-centered and ethical app for connecting neighborhoods and transforming them into networks of trust, sharing, mutual aid, and resilience. On CloseKnit, you will only interact with your closest neighbors, so not someone from, let's say, 2 kilometers away. You never have actually seen. It will have native features for mutual aid, for asking for help. It will have native features for sharing items, for organizing local events, and for combining shopping lists for trips, for example, to Costco or whatever wholesaler or farm that you might want to go to. And above that, it will do everything without monetizing your data, without monetizing your behavior, without monetizing your attention. It won't create a market around you where you're the product. Instead, the user would be the actual customer of CloseKnit.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like that would be really useful, especially with how how most communities that I've seen around major cities, everyone tends to be so disconnected from their neighbors. I mean, you don't necessarily even say hi to the person coming down the hallway if you live in an apartment.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Like I've lived in big apartment complexes for a few years of my life, and it's an issue there. But it's not only an issue there, right? It's an issue in different neighborhoods, especially when people are coming and going, or rather not staying for very long, and you don't have that continuity and kind of that you know getting used to the people that you see all the time.
Exactly. Um, so what was the inspiration for Close Knit for you? What went and spurred this?
I was walking with Max, with like my youngest one, and he'd be sleeping in his stroller, and I would pass by like kilometers and kilometers and kilometers and kilometers of houses and garages, and like a lot of them would be open if the weather's nice, and you see all the same stuff in there. Maybe like not all the same, but most things are the same, and it got me thinking. Like so much energy has been used up, and so much pollution has been created by just catering to kind of the individual household, right? So nobody looks at a community and says, what does a community need? We only look at the household, right? And the bigger the household, the better it is for the people selling things to the household. So this is kind of where we are now. Both like just myself geographically and us as a society, that there's a lot, a lot of I would say just waste, right? A lot of waste, like even things that you wouldn't consider as waste, but just having like everyone having the same lawnmower, or like 10 different families on the street having a snowblower. You don't really need that. You wouldn't be sacrificing anything of your life's quality by sharing those things. And that got me thinking.
So many times, just you end up going and needing something, and the automatic response these days is to go and order it from Amazon or
Mhm.
one of these other big retailers.
That's right.
And especially with the pandemic on right now, you have no idea when you're going to be getting that item. If it's shipped to you, you
Oh
don't
yeah.
know if you can go and get it safely from a store. So if you know that there's somebody that you trust and
Hmm.
that you can go and interact with and go and borrows that from them, then it ends up going and saving you money, going and saving you time. It creates less waste. Like sounds like a win-win all around.
That's right. Well, the only thing that will lose from that is the GDP. You know, because well, you're not actually putting money into the economy, but the quality of life. I believe will increase, and just the security of knowing that you have people to rely on around you.
It's a really good thing that you're doing that. So just kind of bringing up, you have an IndieGoGo campaign that's on at the moment. So what are the funds for the IndieGoGo being directed towards?
Right. So the overwhelming majority of funds would go to retaining talent. We're actually, like, the service that we're creating is non-trivial. There's going to be some technological, I don't know if they're innovations per se, like in the space, but it's definitely cutting edge. We're doing a lot of geospatial. We're playing around with the way that that the app itself talks to the server, that it will make it extremely responsive, and it will reduce the bandwidth. And for all those things, you need to retain talent, and you need to retain continuity of talent. And this is something that I think in the software industry has been neglected a little bit. And then people are coming back actually to the idea that a person is not fungible. Like, you can't just go ahead and replace one unit of worker with another unit of worker. So this is really it, right? We want to remain independent. This is why we're there on IndieGoGo. We want to remain independent from influences such as investors that will have only profitability in mind. We want to remain independent from influences such as being forced to monetize in ways that are not congruent with our mission and with the promises that we've made. And we want to remain as much as possible, so the goal is 100%, and we'll try to reach for that, but we want to remain as much as possible accountable only to our users and not to anybody else, so that we can have this non-mediated relationship.
What will you do if the funds aren't met? I noted that it's listed as being a flexible goal.
Yeah, that's right. So we had it as a flexible goal because it's not a trial for us per se. It's kind of the beginning of a journey, and the idea is that we really are committed. We really are committed to having this launched and having this. And for the community to be able to benefit from this. So it's not something that we tried, didn't work out. Okay, now back to other things. We'll try to make it work. We'll use creative ways of funding that are still congruent with our mission. If this does not, if we don't meet our funding goals, if we don't actually, if we don't have that runway, so it can go to like funding of the app, to just funding of ourselves through other activities such as contracting, etc. But obviously, it will put pressures on us, and it will delay the release of the app. And this is what we're trying to avoid. Like, we want to have an all-in mentality and a fully dedicated execution.
All right, that sounds reasonable. So it's noted in a number of different areas, and also you brought it up in our conversation, that CloseKnit is driven by different philosophies.
Earth care, people care, and fair share. So Earth care and people care is exactly what CloseKnit is about. Like it's about caring for the earth by using less resources. It's about caring for people by people, right? There's nobody else but people to care for people. You don't want robots caring for people, and people caring for people, and this it creates this layer where you can do both and you can achieve both. Now, as to fair share, it's a tricky one. We're definitely not arguing for like any sort of like redistribution of resources in CloseKnit. So there's no undertones of that even. The idea is that if someone needs it more, so for example, if someone was laid off and they can't afford to get something for their house, like a tool that they need for like a repair, or maybe they can't even afford like a carton of eggs, for example. It's another way to be able to kind of support them using the combined resources of the local economy, and actually not the combined resources. Let me rephrase that. Using the combined goodwill of the local people. Now, Solarpunk is cool. It's really like I discovered it not that long ago, like maybe half a year ago, and I keep coming back to like those like discussions and articles and novels that people are writing. It's really 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 optimistic, and it's optimistic in a way that is not, it's not a techno utopia. So you have like other kinds of like subcultures for like techno utopian thoughts. It's people centered thoughts, and it does not negate technology, but it's not relying on technology as the sole savior of the human race. And it poses a question: how can we use our humanity together with like our creativity, our ingenuity to solve tomorrow's problems today? And I think it has deeply affected the way that I think about it, and I think it allowed me to maybe dream bolder a little bit, seeing a lot of the imagery and just reading what people say. So it's kind of like on the periphery. However, I think it is a very solar punk thing to do. Just my opinion on it.
That definitely sounds like you've put a lot of thought into this, as towards problems that we're dealing with currently and also into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to bring up a quick point that I was curious about regarding the safety of users. So what?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go and say that there's something unfortunate happens, like somebody isn't respectful towards your possessions or something else along those lines. Is there something that is in place to be able to go and help with that?
Mm-hmm. So yes and no, and let me address the yes part first, and then I'll address the no part. So we will have a reporting feature. So for example, if you feel that someone has done something not in good faith, for example, they borrowed something of yours and they broke it, and now they don't want to fix it, or they're falsely claiming that it was broken all along or whatnot, you can report that person. And what that means is basically it gives us the knowledge that somebody thinks this person is a bad actor or has acted in bad faith. And if you have, let's say, more more than one report, more than two reports, then there are certain measures that we can start taking. We can suspend accounts, we can disable accounts, we can ban people. So that would be in our terms of service. We can warn them before that, right? We can try and, excuse me, we can try and get them. We can try and get them to reconsider their behavior if we're optimistic about human nature. So yeah, so that's what we will have. And the whole idea of safety in CloseKnit is not through mediated interaction. So CloseKnit is not going to be a thick buffer between you and the other person. It's going to be a facilitator between you and the other person. And coming back a little bit from this concept, there's one more thing I do want to share, is that you will not be dealing with people across town, right? You will not be dealing with people whom you're not sure where they live, or they maybe just say they live somewhere and they don't actually, or you haven't seen them, right? Like, you'll only be dealing with people whom you see every single day, which is, which we feel, or I feel, will prevent these kinds of like bad behaviors. They would basically be poisoning their own well, so to speak. Now, to the parts where the answer was no, so we're not intending to, maybe the negative term would be to nanny people. We're not intending to provide a safety cushion in terms of like insurance for like items that were broken or stolen, because like a stolen item is just a something for law enforcement, and maybe we can provide the logs for that for resolution in court. But in general, we're not going to come out and say, we as CloseKnit guarantee your satisfaction, just because you're not actually dealing with CloseKnit, you're dealing with the other person. We are another street that you can come and meet the person at. So this is how we see the application. So there's definitely pluses and minuses there. However, we feel that it is congruent with our mission of actually creating genuine human connections and not mediated connections or watered down connections, and also to provide a measure of safety at the extremes, right? So at the extremes, you wouldn't have a stalker who pretends to live somewhere so they can know where somebody lives, or someone who pretends to live somewhere to steal something and run away with it. So that's the extent that we've positioned ourselves, at least in this space.
Part of the safety measures that are in place are that you have to verify your address with a piece of slow mail, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. So this was a really hard decision to make, and there are ways to go around it, but not at first. So at first, what we're going to do, we're going to send a piece of mail, an envelope to everyone. It will have your uniquely generated secret verification code, and it will have to match like when you get it a few days from signing up. You'll just enter it in your app. It will match what we have in our database, and we'll say, great, this is you. Like, we know, and now not only we know, because we don't care, your neighbors care. So your neighbors know that Lindsay or Victor, who are pretending, or who are saying, not pretending, who are saying they live where they live, actually are there and not elsewhere. And this ties into our into the concept of the circle of trust. Have I spoken about that yet? Or no?
I don't believe so. If you'd like to share that.
Yes. So this is something that I haven't seen anywhere else, and it's basically a radius around your house, and you say that within this radius are the people whom I want to interact with in these like almost, you know, communal, intimate kind of like settings where you are offering help, you are relying on each other. So, for example, someone who is living in a multi-unit apartment building with, you know, 20 floors and a few hundred units, you might want to have, or even, you know, in a low-rise condo, you might want to just limit your interactions to the people who have the key to the lobby. And that would create another safety net for you. And you can just say, okay, I want to only interact with people who are in my street address. So you can borrow things in the lobby. You can, you know, offer help by just meeting in the safe space. However, you know, for people in suburban environments, so this is me right now, and people in maybe like a small town or a rural environment, you would extend your circle because you can't just rely on like yourself. That would you know to bring us to square one. So you would say, okay, maybe 100 meters around me or 200 meters around me are the people whom I see every day. Or I see every week, right? And that's, you know, and this is how you would create that that trust. And we're working on being able to adjust that. So, for example, if you feel like you know, like this has been fantastic and you want to like increase your circle of trust, you can do that. Or if you feel like the people at the periphery are just bad people, you don't want to deal with them, then you decrease that and you say, no, like I want to, you know, like I want to only be deal with people who are just like really close by. This is something that that we're going to offer. And okay, so for me and you to actually interact on the app, we would have to be in each other's circle. So you can't just forcibly include someone whom you know, like they might not feel feel confident enough to include you in that radius. That's kind of
Definitely.
the safety thing.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it definitely sounds like it's a very versatile tool.
Yeah, and we're trying, and you know, it's like it's very difficult to be able to appeal, not appeal, but to be able to solve problems for populations, for people living in a condo and for people living in, like, out in the country. Like, those are completely different lives. However, we do feel that there is a universality in the concept, and we're trying to create a set of features that are common, that will be able to serve everyone well. Perhaps, you know, perhaps in the future, when we see that there's like really specialized things that that are unique to like I don't know, people out in the country, or people in like big, like high rises, then we will just include that and kind of modify their experience. But we want to start out as a universal tool and as a very flexible and versatile tool, as you said, and see where you know, see where that leads us. Like see what people are saying.
Well, I think that covers pretty much all the questions that I had. Uh, is there anything else that you'd like to go and add before we finish up?
Yeah. I want to add, like, whoever's going to be reading or listening to this, that that right now it's actually, you know, as bad of a time as it is a pivotal moment, or it can be a pivotal moment. And I think a lot of the potential energy for projects like this, for projects that are humanistic, that are not based on, you know, the surveillance economy or the attention economy or any of the like VC backed kind of ideas. right now is probably the best time that I've seen, like in my career, to go ahead and launch them. So use that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting times that we live in, and it's going to be very interesting seeing how the future holds. And probably one of the few ways that we're going to actually be able to get this is through cooperation as a community. So thank you for going and bringing this app about. And I honestly think this is something that we all really need right now. And thank you for your time, and thank you for going and speaking with me. And I hope that you have a great day.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you very much for your time and for your interest, and have a fantastic day as well.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed. If you'd like to learn more about the Solarpunk scene and CloseKnit, check out the links below. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have a project that you've been working on that you would like to be featured on our channel, please feel free to contact us. We hope that you have a great day.